Hey guys, welcome to the Deep Dive In podcast with Nancy and Brenda. We gotta say,
And we are back, baby.
hey deep divers.
I hope you guys are having a great day if you're listening in, whatever day it is. I hope your day's been beautiful so far. Has your day been beautiful so far?
So far, yeah, I got to go to this new coffee spot, and that always makes me happy.
You do love a coffee spot for
Yeah.
sure. So, July 8th.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Happy
crazy.
July 8th, everyone.
Wait, I remember we were saying yesterday how people are like, oh, it's Halloween season. I
Yeah.
was like, motherfuckers, it's only July. But I get it. Some people are obsessed with Halloween, and that's the next holiday, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's understandable. Are you a Halloween person?
Honestly, not for the decoration or anything, but dressing up, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I love to see like the girls dress up and
Oh,
the
yeah.
costumes they pick. That's really the only reason why.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I feel like I do have Halloween spirit in me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny now we're talking about Halloween in July.
Yeah.
If you're just tuning in, we're talking about Halloween in July.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I think I am. I think I'm more than I portray to be.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought I was gonna start. Thought you were gonna be like, not really.
Yeah, I think I am. But at the same time, I'm also that person that doesn't like. I feel like it's a made up holiday for us to consume more,
Yeah.
and I've become a non-consumer. I
Uh-huh.
feel, or I'm becoming a non-consumer. So it's kind of like,
Yeah.
stuff, you know?
That's how I feel with Christmas because I love Christmas
Yeah,
and I want to buy all the things and stuff.
yeah, all
But-
the little toys.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, maybe not. I guess I could just spend this money on gifts.
That's smart. That is 100% smart. But anywho,
Yeah.
anywho, I wanted to talk about something that happened recently,
Uh-huh.
and it's been on my mind ever since it happened. And I think this is a good topic to talk about because it has to do with when we're changing as a person. I feel like there's a lot of, it's not only you changing as a person and changing like your beliefs and
Yeah.
stuff, but there's also family and friends and people obviously that knew you a certain way
Mm-hmm.
that kind of don't identify with you anymore or
Yeah.
like feel some type of a way because you're changing. And that always reminds me of this meme, and it's like it's a butterfly. No, it's a caterpillar and a butterfly, I think.
Yes.
And then the caterpillar tells the butterfly like, "Oh, you've changed."
Yeah.
And then the butterfly's like, "We're supposed to."
Yeah.
It always
I
reminds
love
me of
that
that.
one.
But anywho, like something that happened recently, and it was somebody close to me,
Mhm.
and me and you were having a conversation. We were at an event in a
Mhm.
place with all the family members and stuff. Me and you were having a conversation with someone,
Mm-hmm.
and this person came to get the person that we were having a conversation with.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I'm paraphrasing because I kind of vaguely remember him saying it, but it's still like stuck in my head. What he said, like, get away from them, like, don't like buy into their bullshit pretty much,
Mhm.
or buy into their stuff.
Yeah.
And we were having a great conversation and talking to this person, asking him about his success story
Yeah.
and asking him, what are some things that he's had to maneuver through and have the struggles that he's gone through and stuff
Right.
as a Hispanic person, being successful, owning a venue and like all of these things, right? And we were having a deep conversation with this person. Somebody close to me came and said, like,
Yeah.
don't fall into their bullshit, as if we're like a cult or something.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to me. And this person that said this is very close to me. And I kind of just don't want to say like
Yeah.
who it is because I just don't. And it's been with me ever since.
Why do you think?
Because I really, I've always cared about what yeah, I guess I always cared about what this person thought of me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because this is why it's crazy. Because I felt we were grown out of that.
Oh.
I thought we were grown out of that.
That you too were past that.
Yeah.
Already.
I thought we were past the, oh, you're,
making fun of each other.
Making fun of each other. And like, I thought we were past that. I thought we were at a point where we're just going to support each other for whatever we do in our lives.
Okay.
And, or like, not admire each other, but like, support each other in whatever we do. And it was crazy to me to hear that, from somebody I highly respect.
Right.
And I think it goes with, the transit, like changing. That's one of the reasons why I feel a lot of people have a hard time changing, because those things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to happen that you're going to make people uncomfortable.
Yes.
And then this person we were having the conversation with, he's like, no, hold on. I like these conversations.
Yeah.
Like, bro, we were just having a conversation about, whatever.
Yeah.
And it might have been that this person just wanted to, like, get drunk,
Right.
partied in the situation that we were in. Understandably so. But I don't think it's right for somebody to say that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's somebody close to you.
I agree. Yeah.
For them to say, like, oh, don't buy into their bullshit, and that kind of like is disrespectful in a way.
Yeah, because it's kind of communicating to the other party, like, that you are not thought highly of in what it is that you do.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And I also think, to add to what you're saying, is there's like a sense of loneliness in this evolution that we go through in life. And there's also these actually, I think it was shortly thereafter we hung out with some friends, and the friends asked us, like, does your family support you in what you do?
Oh yeah.
Right. And sometimes it's like people that are closest to us, whether it's family, very close friends, or whoever, that are our least supporters. And I told them, I was like, you know what? I think the only two people that are truly supportive, that are close to me as like family, would be my mom and sister. And they're truly the only ones that really support me and that I could actually share things about with. Yeah. And I think it's not just you and I think it's actually a lot of people that they do not receive support from the people they think that they should be receiving support from.
It's so true. I mean, it got me thinking, because like I said, I thought that we were past that, right? Like, and first, like, it's crazy to me because of what was said, but then I'm understanding that person's point of view of me, right?
Yes.
So it makes me understand, like, oh, they still see me like little Nancy that doesn't know what the fuck she's doing, or, talking her nonsense.
Yeah.
Because I've always been this way. I've always gone in deeper in conversations. Yes. I've always said the things that are uncomfortable to people. Like, always.
Ever since I've met you.
Yeah. I've always been this way.
When you first started talking to me, you asked me deep ass questions.
I just always address the elephant in the room. Yeah. Is, I feel, what I like, how I've been. I've always been that way. And for somebody to be like, oh, don't fall into their bullshit, whatever, like, it's very interesting to see or to know, because I know where that person's mindset is at, which is no shame or whatever, but it sucks, because now I feel like now it's up to me whether I want to be around that person or not, and make that decision. And it sucks because it's somebody that I love deeply, and somebody I obviously grew up with very closely. And it's like, damn, now I have to make this decision for myself. Yeah. That I didn't want to make, but unfortunately it is what it is. And some people are just not made to be there to support you or be there to understand.
Yeah.
They're on their own journey. You're on your own journey. And sometimes those journeys don't clash. And it sucks. It really sucks to go through that. And I can understand why in some cases it's very hard for people to change because they stay around the same people that keep them down because they're scared to be alone
Mm-hmm.
and they're scared to lose the people that they love and they don't want to. And so you stay in the same circle because of that.
Yeah. And it could also be seen as they're they want to keep us down where they're at, right? Whatever. But it could also be seen as maybe they are a part of your journey to help elevate you to that
Mhm.
next place in your life, because maybe you have to learn how to set this boundary, because setting boundaries is a part of energetic cleansing. It's like making sure that you have the good vibes, right?
Yeah.
And setting boundaries allows, maybe setting the boundary with that person needs to be done now, because later on down the road you are going to need to have that boundary for whatever else is coming your way,
Yeah.
right? And although we may not understand it, and it may be very difficult for us to even think of placing that boundary, it's essential for our upliftment in our journey. And it's kind of like but this also goes hand in hand with like our childhood,
Yeah.
because it's how we handle that rejection, and in a sense not feeling chosen by that person that you looked up to so deeply and that you still look up to so much, right? And so it's like, how it's acknowledging that that stems from somewhere in our childhood, and then it's understanding, okay, well, how am I going to respond now? Which is
Yeah.
where you're at right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do this, right? I don't want to set whatever boundary it is you have to set
Yeah.
for
Like I don't
yourself.
want to stop talking to them, and stop
Mhm.
hanging around with them.
Mhm.
Like I really don't.
Mhm.
But I also know that they see me a certain way,
Mhm.
and I'm not gonna stand for that.
Mhm.
I'm not just gonna let somebody share their opinion of me and then continue to be like whatever,
Right. Right.
passive,
Yeah.
because then
Passive.
I'm not giving myself that respect.
Mhm.
I'm not being respectful to myself and my worthiness. Like I'm worthy of that person's respect. I've done nothing wrong.
Mhm.
I've just been who I am.
Mhm.
And for whatever reason, it's not accepted.
Yeah. It's not accepted. And I think about it like maybe it's triggering for that person in a way,
Possibly.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, really, like the conversations that are had are literally conversations about, people's achievements,
Yeah.
you know? Or sometimes even with that person, it's like asking them how things are going. Like
Yeah.
it's like not a conversation that they want to have,
Right.
which is interesting to me because it's all surface level interactions, right? Of
Mhm.
like, let's just get drunk and that's it.
Mhm.
Really, there's
Yeah.
no deep conversations. For someone that's deep like I am, like it's very crazy. But obviously, this is, a very close person to me, so it's
Mhm.
not like I could completely not hang out
Yeah.
in the same vicinity as this person is.
Right.
So, but it's hard. It's very hard to, I would say, like go through these changes and go into the life that you want to live and be the person you want to be because of these close relationships that you have, and that people, don't see you in that light that you see yourself in.
Yeah.
They still see you as who you were, and the mistakes that you've done and all of those things.
Mhm.
And it's just like people not giving you the benefit of the doubt. And I feel like everybody deserves the benefit of the doubt. Like everybody
Yeah.
deserves to evolve. Everybody deserves to change in whatever way that they want, even if it doesn't resonate with me. But people don't understand that. And I think that's why we have the division that we have in today's world,
Yeah.
is because people don't understand the other person. Like everyone goes through their own journey.
Mhm. That every person wants the other person to do what they want them to do in order for that person to feel happy.
Yeah.
And that it's like me telling you like, oh, I need you to do this so that I can be happy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's not a sustainable way of
No,
being.
like boo boo, you're responsible for your own
Yeah.
happiness.
Yeah.
Like,
Because you're teaching that other person, like, well, you need to do what I'm telling you. So you're teaching them to people please in order
yeah,
for them to receive like likeness and whatever else, right? And that's sometimes that's what people do to us is they want you to be how they want you to be so that they can feel good about themselves and but screw you and how you feel. And so it's crazy because I don't know, like I just feel that a lot of times as we evolve in our life and go along our journey, the people that don't support us, it's because it's triggering something within them
yeah,
and they choose to instead like say those things like that they said, right?
yeah. I
and
agree.
and I
Sorry, go ahead.
and I think that the that is that expression of ourselves and however it is we choose to express it, whether it's through deep conversation or through the way you come across to other people, the way you dress, whatever, however you choose to look. And like that is a form of expression. And I feel that when it triggers other people, that is the opportunity for them to be like, oh, why am I like this?
Yeah,
But a lot of people don't know to do that, right? They don't know how
yeah,
to be self aware. But all you can keep doing is expressing yourself in that way because that is raw and authentic Nancy,
yeah,
is however it is that you're choosing to move through this world. Like, I know for me personally, whenever I do show up in a certain way that I feel triggers people, I'm like, dude, that's not none of my business. Like, that's all you. And so, like, if you choose to feel that way about me because I'm being this way, like, that's, I don't know, man. Like, that's something you need to look into.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel the most important thing that you can do in the journey that you're in, and whatever journey that you're in, is letting people be who they are.
Yeah.
But you also, as you're evolving and you're being aware of how people are being triggered by your change
Mm-hmm.
in life, like you also need to be aware that like that's happening, and letting it go, like
Yeah.
letting go. What I mean by letting it go is letting go the like what caring about what other people think about you.
Yeah.
And I think this precise event or circumstance that happened for me, it's helped me get to that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's crazy. This person, still thinks this way of me, and like I don't care.
Yeah.
Like it's brought me to a place of like letting it go. Like
Yeah.
I don't care what you think about me. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm actually doing the opposite of bringing a different perspective to the world, and in hopes it could possibly, help somebody.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that's what happens. I think when you change, it triggers people, just like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. It triggers people because they're staying the same.
Right.
So the triggering comes from their like, oh, they're changing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they just see the change as a negative because it's not because they're not changing.
Yeah. They start telling you like, "Oh, you think you're better than me,"
Yeah.
or like people see you working out and they're like, "Oh, I need to start working out." I'm like, "Nobody told you you need to start working out, bro. Like, I'm just sharing with you that I'm working out."
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what it is because at the end of the day, naturally, I feel as a human being, we are always changing and we are always in the wanting to change.
Mhm.
But because of all of these things, carrying what people think about you, or it's too hard,
Mhm.
or all of these things that we put excuses on, we don't change. And that's why if you stay the same and you see somebody else changing, that's what's triggering.
Mhm.
Because in reality, you want to change.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a human evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In reality, you want to change. So that's why it's triggering you
Yeah.
because you're choosing not to.
Right.
So I feel like that's what happens. Like people just get triggered because they, in reality, want to change and not necessarily to be the person, they see the other person being,
Mhm.
but we want to do new things. We
Mhm.
want to, as a human being, like that's just in our nature.
Yeah.
Our expansion to learn new things, to, you know, like experience new things, travel somewhere, take up a new hobby, or whatever the case may be. Like we are literally wanting to do those things
Mhm.
as human.
Mhm.
But if you stay the same and you're not evolving and you're not changing, you're literally going against your own want
Yes.
as in nature, like as a human being,
Yes.
which is crazy.
What your soul really wants.
Yeah, what your soul really wants is to change, to be different, and to evolve and be in awareness, and whatever the case may be, like take up a new hobby or whatever.
Into the greatest potential of who you can be.
Yeah,
Because I think humans have such potential, but we don't get there.
we don't, because we get stuck in this, societal
Yeah.
programming. But that's like,
That's another thing. Um, but at the end of the day, it means choosing yourself. It
yeah,
means choosing yourself over the opinions, over the thoughts, over the projections that other people make towards you.
hmm
And that's what makes you happy, honestly.
yeah. And I think that's been the hardest thing for me in my transition, and in the things I want to in the life that I want to live, and the person that I want to be in this life, has been letting go of caring
Mm.
of what people, certain people, like I don't care what everybody thinks about me, but
Yeah.
I do care like what my immediate family thinks of me, right?
Uh,
So if that becomes like a thing, like that's been the most challenging, because it's like I didn't want to I didn't want to disappoint them, right? Because it's a child thing. It's a childhood, inner child thing.
yeah.
I didn't want to disappoint them. I didn't want to, say something that was going to embarrass them,
Mm.
because that was always me. I was always the one that would said something to embarrass everybody, and they'd be like, "Shut up, Nancy! Like,
Yeah.
don't say that or whatever."
Yeah.
So now, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care. Like, it's who I am,
Right.
and that's what I've suppressed. And I realize with this happening, I realized. I mean, I've let it go, like I think before, but this just kind of solidified like where I was at, of being able to let go of what they think of me,
Mm.
and let go of, the criticism or embarrassing them or whatever. Like I don't care anymore. It's not that I don't care. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's not that I don't care. It's just I'm choosing me. Like I'm not embarrassed by it.
You're not gonna let it uh take precedence over what you.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not going to let it take precedence over what I want to be, and following my truth and my authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I feel like my authenticity and bringing that to light, and sharing that with the world, is going to allow me to accomplish what I want to accomplish in life.
Yeah. I
So
agree.
I was literally like blocking myself from those accomplishments, because I cared about what other people thought about me.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Not just for you, but for anybody who's listening who also feels the same way, like that they can't express themselves 100% because of these opinions or thoughts of other people.
Yeah.
And while you're listening to this, if those people come to mind, like those are the people that 100% have, in a sense, power over you,
Mhm.
because you are giving them your attention, you are giving them your thought, like, oh, what are they going to think of me? You are giving away your energy to that person simply by the mere fact that you're thinking about what they're going to think about you posting this or
Yeah.
saying this or acting this way or being this way, right? So,
Yeah, and it's true, and
It's
it
very
holds you back.
yeah.
It holds you back completely. I for one can say that it's held me back from like posting stuff, or like really pushing our podcast, for example. I feel
Mhm.
like that's been one of the reasons why, like, I didn't want to feel cringe. Like a cringe is the
Mhm.
word that everybody uses, right? Like feel cringe. In the stuff that we talk about is usually like stuff like personal stuff.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I've had that comment before, like when I brought up having the podcast, and one of my family members, and I think I shared this before, one of my family members was saying like, I don't want to really listen to it because I didn't want to hear stuff that's like uncomfortable, or like it's,
Yeah.
it's weird for me to listen to. I'm like, well, it's my life. So not yours,
Yeah.
um but that's where it comes from, and it comes from caring what other people think, but at the same time sabotaging my dreams because I am caring what other people think.
Yeah.
And
Who
like,
cares?
who cares?
Yeah.
You can't let yourself down. That's the thing. You can't let yourself down, and continue to not like follow your dream to.
Yes.
Because you do think, like, even though, like, I didn't know that me caring what other people thought was stopping me from posting. Like, I didn't know that, right? Like, initially it was just like, like it wasn't even something that I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Like, and then like I kept asking myself like, well, why doesn't it come natural to just post,
Yeah.
Then you start digging into these things, and it's like, oh, and then the situation that happened made me think about it more. And I'm like, oh, that's why I don't like go into it. That's why I don't post as much, because I'm still thinking like I'm making people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck that shit.
Block them all, babe. Block them all.
I don't want to block. I'm not a blocking type of person. I really am not.
Yeah, you really aren't. Yeah. You brought up the word cringe, and my Reiki teacher, she sent an email out today, and she said that this whole month is the time where people are going to start, like, if they really are aware, they're going to start speaking out. And in her email, she even put, this is a good time to speak up, speak your truth, put your ideas out there, risk embarrassment and cringe, and get started.
Yeah.
The world needs your genius, your art, your heart. And that's where we're at as a society right now. And I think the people that really do that and like go all in into sharing and speaking their truth and being who they are without caring about what people think about them, they're going to see the result in like very small amount of time. And so go be cringe, babe.
I'm gonna be cringe, guys. Catch me on my cringe TikTok.
Even though it's just life stuff.
Yeah, like it's just, things that people should know, I guess. Coming from a different perspective of life. Like,
yeah.
It's so interesting. But I mean, that's, again, it's one of the things that keeps us back. The biggest thing I feel is what keeps us back from doing what we want to do. Because let's just say it's not even about posting on social media or whatever, right? Let's just say it's about taking a certain job or changing your career or leaving your job because you don't want it anymore. You make those decisions. Those decisions are based off of what people think about you.
Yeah. Yep.
Whether it be your immediate family, and sometimes it is your immediate family. Most of the time it is your immediate family.
Yeah.
Like, what are my parents going to think about me? What are my siblings going to think about me? Like, this is a good job. This is like an amazing opportunity, but I don't like it.
Right.
And you just get stuck doing it because you're caring about what other people might say.
Yeah. Deep down below, it turns into judgment and shame to oneself. And as women, I think it's just something that women carry very deep down inside. They begin to like think of the judgment that they're going to receive from those people that are very close to them.
Yeah.
Hence, placing that judgment upon themselves. And then they begin to place that shame upon themselves too. Like, who am I to think that I could even get a better job?
Yeah.
Who am I to think that I even can start over my career at 40 or 50? Right?
Like, I'm already old.
Yeah.
Or something.
Like they begin to place these feelings on them unknowingly, by the way. And I think it just sucks because it's obviously it's society that has conditioned women to think this way. But
And that's so true. And
yeah.
and I say that because the other day I was noticing, like, on my TikTok, some guy, like, you see guys posting, for example, on TikTok. Sometimes they post like the crazy shit,
Yeah.
and sometimes they're just like scamming people, like, with no
Mhm.
shame,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm like, holy shit, and I feel like, and I've always felt this at the same time, because I feel like, in with my bro, I saw this with my brother.
Uh-huh.
I saw he never gave a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he always just did his thing.
Yeah.
He never gave a fuck. Like, we would go to a party and he wouldn't care to, like, get a present to go to the party, and, like, like,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like, he just, I mean, that's probably like the least of the not giving the fuck, but that's the only example that came to mind. But he just never gave a fuck. Like, he just did whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And to his right, like, to his right, he did. And I always admired that of him. Because he always just did whatever he did. He was a fuck it, like, let's go, type of person. And he never gave a fuck about what anybody thought about him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very, like, I always saw that and, like, holy shit, because I didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the fuck does he do that
Right.
without feeling fucking embarrassed?
Yeah.
Or, how does he do that? But yeah, I mean, it makes sense, because my dad was like that. My
Yeah.
dad was like, I don't give a fuck. He's gonna do whatever. He was the black sheep of his family. Like, he didn't give a fuck
Mm-hmm.
about what he did. But my mom gave a fuck.
Yeah.
And
Because
so that's where it comes from. Like,
yeah.
I don't have that non-shameless attitude because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck, man?
It's deep in there. Honestly, just post this thing. Just get the new job, get the new career, start over, do whatever it is you feel like doing, and be like the F it brother.
Yeah.
Just go for
Be
it.
like my brother. Fuck it. Let's go. Yeah, it's true. Like, it's true. And to a sense, I try to be that way.
Yeah.
Sometimes throughout my life, I try to be that way. I try to be the, like, fuck it
Mm-hmm.
person, but I still cared.
Mm-hmm.
I still, like, cared what other people thought of me.
Mm-hmm.
So in my life right now, in this day and age, I feel that's I completely am aware of being in my own power and being in my own worth, and it's like who gives a fuck what anybody says or
Yeah.
whatever anybody thinks and what you do, and wear it proudly. I think it's one of the things that I've actually been working on myself, is wearing it proudly. And what I mean by that is, like, whatever you choose to do, like, wear it proudly.
Mm-hmm.
Like us, wanting to go in, wanting to do, like, our podcast, and wanting to, you holding space for people and doing sound healing and breath work, and me wanting to, like, be a content creator and going into, creating my YouTube videos and stuff. Like, I was kind of like, when the conversation would come up, it's like, oh, this is what I'm, like, shy about it,
Yes.
and it's one of the things that I became aware of for myself. It's like, okay, I chose this life that I want to create and the life that I want to live, but I'm still embarrassed by it. And I'm still holding back the embodying part because of that embarrassment, because it's not something people understand.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of like, oh, I don't want to make people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then, I thought, like, and now I'm just like, no, like, this is what I do. This is what I am.
Yes.
And I don't give a fuck what you think. I hope you don't think anything bad, but I hope you understand. But if you don't, it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
I don't need your validation.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day. Like, you don't need anybody's validation but yourselves.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're not doing anything bad and you're not hurting people or whatever, like, you do whatever you want to do, and you don't need anybody's validation, or you don't need to step on fucking eggshells and stay quiet because you don't want to make people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because I've said this to myself.
Oh, wow.
And this is a conversation that I've had with myself because I felt the opposite of it, right?
Yeah.
So I've had to have these conversations with myself in order to get to where I'm at right now and embodying the life that I want to live, no matter what I choose to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to embody it and I'm going to wear it proudly, no matter what anybody says.
As you should.
Once again, guys, thank you for listening. If you gain something or feel inclined to share this episode, please do so. Go to our Instagram, Deep Dive In Podcast. That's Dive In, DIVIN. And connect with us there. Comment, share, post. We appreciate the support so much. And we will catch you on the next one.